It was a wintry day in Texas not long ago, and I had decided to make sugar-free ice cream. And I used an ice cream maker called Dash. And the first thing you do is to put that Dash bowl inside the freezer and leave it there for 8 to 12 hours, at least until it is completely frozen, that the liquid inside its walls. Then once you make sure it is frozen, you can go and prepare the ingredients. You need a nice mixing bowl. Then you need 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. We used a brand from Costco. Then a half cup of milk. In this case, we use homogenized. Typically, we use whole milk. Then a 1/4 cup of sweetener. We used monk fruit. Then finally, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So the first thing you do is mix the cream and the milk together. It doesn't have to be a heavy mix, just mix it enough. Then you add the 1/4 cup of sweetener and mix until the granules are dissolved. Now, one thing to note about monk fruit is that it doesn't seem to dissolve as well as sugar does, so it's going to be a little grainy, but that's okay. That's pretty much the best that we can do. Now add the 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. In our case, we were fortunate enough to have a homemade batch, and it is definitely much better than store-bought. But anyways, if you have store-bought, just use that. And then, as we have already done, mix that together in with everything else in the bowl. Then go to your freezer and get that Dash bowl out and set it on your counter. And put the motor on top, give it a twist to make sure it's locked. In this case, I couldn't lock it just yet because I was using only one hand. And then plug it in and turn on the machine. It is important that you have the blade rotating before pouring the mixture, so make sure you do this. Now, in my case, I put a funnel because it was so much easier pouring everything in without spilling. And once you do, just pour the mixture in and let the machine do the rest of the work. Just set a timer for 30 minutes and allow the machine to run for that whole time. Now we've just started, but there's already a reaction with the ice cream. It's sticking to the inside of the walls and freezing. Also, I did lock the motor in place. The tab should be completely to the left or the right. Currently, it doesn't look at all impressive. It really just looks like cream, but just wait and see. I promise it is going to look like ice cream in a little bit. All right, we have only 11 minutes left on our timer, and this is what it looks like. It looks like ice cream, not just cream. So it's going pretty well. We still have a little bit of time left, so we'll wait and see. Well, now our timer is done, and this is what the ice cream looks like in its finality. It looks thicker, fluffier, and lighter than it was before. So what you do is turn off the blade and unplug and remove the top carefully, and voila, there's your ice cream. It looks really good and pretty sticky. In the manual that came with the Dash machine, it did say that the consistency would be a soft texture. So I found that to be true. It is not melted, but the spoon can run through it pretty effortlessly and smoothly. So that is what you can expect. Now, when you're sifting through your ice cream, make sure you use a softer type of scoop or spoon. I'm using a plastic one. Use a silicone one or some other one that's not metal, because remember, there is a coating inside the bowl and it can get scratched. So just be aware of that. Now for cleaning, it's easy. Just take off the blade and rinse it off, wash it off with soap and sponge. Don't use abrasives if possible. Definitely don't use abrasives for the bowl. You really just need to rinse and use a soft soap and sponge. And for the cover here, you can remove the motor. Just press the tabs on the side, pop open that motor, and the plastic cover will be separated. And that is what you can rinse and wash. Finally, what if you want your ice cream to be a little more tougher, denser, harder? Well, all you have to do is scoop out all the ice cream you can and put it into a separate bowl. And with that bowl, just stick it in the freezer. The manual said to put it in the freezer for an hour. You can check it now and then to make sure it reaches the consistency that you want. For us, we don't really care if it's too hard or not. We just let it sit out and thaw if it is. Now, for the amount is probably 2 cups or so of ice cream, not very much. And perhaps another downside is that the ice cream tends to stick inside of the bowl. That either you scrape off, which is kind of risky because you might scratch the wall lining, or you just let it thaw a little bit and then scoop stuff out. So, anyways, altogether, it's a pretty nice little machine, and the recipe is so easy. You could probably use it in other ice cream machines. However, I haven't tested that myself. Nevertheless, these are the basic 4 ingredients for sugar-free ice cream, and hope you enjoyed and will try it yourself.